starting off from people's internet use being away from the desktop and seeing many millions and millions of devices, and also really the demands of users. There's quite a few statistics actually that I'll pull back to in a minute, maybe after we've done some demos in a sec and get through to be able to provide people some statistics that they can use in their own work as they explain and educate, maybe inside their organization or in with their consulting base, because of course for many Delphi developers, their boss is their clients as consultants, because they're the guys that hold the budget for their time, and so we can make those kind of resources available to you. There's an easy one actually that I've got up to here as we look through to a favorite little resource that we use as we click around some of the geos, and this is Get Clicky. It's a nice, I say little site. It's on quite a scale. I think these guys monitor about 300 or 500,000 websites, decent sized websites, and collect and collate that data, and then show many things, one of which is actually the platforms that are used, the operating systems that are used to hit those major websites. So if we actually look at the global share of operating systems that are hitting many of these major websites around the planet, obviously Windows is still the primary platform for these clients as they hit these websites, with regards to desktop clients in this case. But if you look now, Mac is becoming a significant secondary platform. So in many markets, really up to 1 in 5 users hitting those websites would be a Mac client. So if we then go around some of the major markets, let's look at maybe Germany, for example. So as we click through, if I remember the way in which this guy works. Okay, clicking through here, we're probably looking, I think it was about 10 or 12% of the market in Germany now using. So as that refreshing, Pavel, you can see. Let me zoom in. Top families, mobile phones, mobile operating systems, and the like from there. So yeah, operating systems. Let's look at Mac and zoom in on Mac in Germany, for example. I think this will give us a bit more of a focus on that. Okay, good. So you're looking at about 12% of the market in Germany, for example, are using Mac operating system. This is a huge number of users. And of course, as developers, it's an opportunity for us to really drive in and support these users. Now, I think obviously as you look at, no one can say that you're going to dethrone Microsoft from its #1 position for quite some time. And of course we support Microsoft really, really well, and will absolutely continue to do so. But for independent developers that want to grow their business in a way, this is a particularly significant way of doing it. If you look at some markets, this is one in APAC for those guys that might be watching out over there. It might be later in the day for them, but you see in some markets it gets to be quite high, even as high as 20% in some Nordic markets, and I think the UK runs at around 12% as well. So there's this is kind of live data running day to day. I'll pick out some of the analyst resources such as Forrester that say about people issuing Macs in business, and also the whole bring your own device. As we look at the mobile support that's now in RAD Studio, obviously with native support for iOS, but other platforms and the mobile connectors coming in to support many other platforms such as Android and the like as we move through. But we'll get into that in later sessions.
Yeah, I think that there's some.
So if you look at the yeah, absolutely, Pav, come.
There are some interesting dynamics around the rise of the mobile platforms, and I think another interesting observation is a convergence of the desktop and mobile operating systems. If you look at the examples of iOS and OS 10 on Mac, where you have features coming from the first going into the iOS and then coming into the subsequent versions of the desktop operation system. Same for the Android and Linux. When we have Android is really based on Linux, and we see dramatic increase in the market share of Android devices. And same for Windows, when we have Windows 8 trying to be an operating system for both on mobile and desktop. I think that's very important dynamics, and that's nothing will stop developers and users from going away from desktop, from Windows towards mobile and new platforms. So that's something we need to follow, otherwise we'll be irrelevant on the market. So FireMonkey and XE2 is a great answer to really handle those future directions.
Yeah, absolutely. It's really key. It was really key for us as the independent developer vendor, and let's not forget, it's the largest developer community on the planet after the Microsoft developer community. And of course, by the very essence, it's the Microsoft platform developer community, and that's great. But we've been talking to many Microsoft developers at shows, at leading developer shows around the world, even over the last couple of months. And in FireMonkey now, of course, these guys are they're trying to get their head around Windows 8 and Metro, big shifts in their user interfaces, and really moving away from the Win32 SDK as the UIs, and those move forward with Metro and the like. That's something that they need to get their head around. And with FireMonkey, we've been able to show them very, very quickly and easy, amazing demos, and also paths through to share code even through to Mac and other platforms in the future as they emerge. So that's one of the things that's been particularly exciting, I guess, for us, and should be for many Delphi developers as well, because I know that many of us work alongside Microsoft guys. We've got many friends at Microsoft, and they're excited about the technologies that we're showing. And in many cases, for the Microsoft guys, they're actually really excited about the way we're doing it, because, of course, you stay on the Windows platform to target these other platforms. So as a Windows developer, and we'll go into this in a later session, you actually stay on Windows and target natively these other platforms. So even if Microsoft might be Mac deniers as such, it enables them to kind of keep that level of credibility. So that's been really interesting conversations that have gone on over the last few months with ourselves and developers, as we've worked with the Microsoft guys specifically, and many Microsoft developers looking to encompass and get their head around what's clearly a multi-platform world and a multi-mobile platform world that FireMonkey gives us that future through to in so many different ways as the market evolves and platforms emerge. And who knows in 3 or 5 years' time where this could lead. And that's one of the things that for the technologies that we're talking about now and supporting in XE2, it gives you such a strong center of gravity to still obviously work and target the Windows platform, but of course all of these other platforms that are significant parts of the market, even though, of course, they're not the major player, that 90% desktop dominance that Microsoft has. It still means hundreds of thousands of users that you can target as a developer, if not millions in the mobile space. Hey, Pavel?
Yeah, exactly. And I think another interesting dynamics in the market today is actually two things. One is actually going away from the traditional browser plugin model. Technologies like Flash and Silverlight are clearly going away. And
yeah, that's been quite a shock for a lot of people, actually.
The market is really focusing around HTML5 and deploying applications that don't have dependencies. That's also key for managed applications. Also, we see that more and more people are moving towards mobile native compiled solutions versus any managed, being this either Java or .NET. So that's clearly the direction that the market is going, and it's very exciting to see that XE2 is one of the main players on this movement towards native compiled solutions. And what is unique about the FireMonkey is that you don't have to learn two different languages, two different programming environments, and you can natively target from the same code base to multiple operating systems. That's amazing.
Yeah, absolutely. It's been a lot of fun, hasn't it? And it's only getting better and better as we move forward. So maybe look at a few of the online resources actually in this session before we get to some of the demos. There's quite a few things around online that you can draw from. So I guess obviously there's a lot of the product pages themselves. So if you go to embarcadero.com, there's Brad Studio, there's specific FireMonkey pages, and like read from there. There's other kind of focus pages as well, and these have been a lot of fun. If you look at FireMonkey specifically, drawing through, and actually there's you see the poster coming by. So those guys that have registered, so we're offering a FireMonkey poster to those that we're able to send one to for the first 500 that register for this series. So well done, you guys, on this one. We'll be packaging those up and sending that out through the next few days. And there's a shot of that on this FireMonkey page that's quite easy to get to. It's embt.co/FireMonkey info, or as you can see the URL on here, I think that clicks through. There's quite a lot of nice easy things here that go through and talk a bit about FireMonkey, but just lead through to some things like the quick start guide. Is a really easy place to get your head around if you're trying to do some work and evaluate these new technologies before talking through to your team or to your boss and explaining what FireMonkey does. Then we'd very much value your feedback on this quick start guide. It really does take you through in a very sort of structured, easy way, as it tells you how to set stuff up, where there's tutorials, and also actually David's joined us, but he's just set up a really an amazing e-learning series that I'll click on in a minute that explains more about how to use FireMonkey, gives you it really is literally an online training series with a little task that you can test and run and everything else. So that's going to be really exciting. I know that we've had hundreds of people sign up for that, and it's only been up a few days now, so that's cool. But back to the quick start, as you go through, you get the idea, taking through the basics here, then telling all about developing, accessing with data, image and animations, and all of the like. So that's a really nice resource that you can click through from this focus or effort campaign that we've got going on here. Many other things. If you look through to the blogs and the like, so if we come through to, I think here's a link through to blogs, and I was just clicking on Michael Swindell's here as we go back to the blogs in general. There's an enormous amount of information on the blogs from either engineers or the product team as we try things for ourselves, as we get questions, as we post up pieces of code, or as many of us write articles and examples. I know that Pavel's been pretty busy with some of these code compatibility blogs. Pavel, maybe you'd like to mention some of your recent blog postings. Excuse me.
Yeah, sure. I've been like I said, I've been working on some of the FireMonkey 3D visualization. So I was really inspired by the Anders Olsson work on how to work on a low level in code with mesh data. So like in FireMonkey, we take full advantage of the underlying hardware. So we work with a GPU. So basically on a programming level, this means actually going into the vertex buffers and the index buffers, working with the textures. So this is all GPU based. So basically what I have done, I took this, like you see on the screen, the first screenshot is from the original Anders Olsson article on visualizing mathematical functions in 3D. So what I have done, actually, I refactored his code a little bit to really separate the logic that is responsible for generating the mesh also added some functionality to actually manipulate the mesh in 3D. And what is really interesting is the very good performance that you can get from using FireMonkey for 3D. This generating programmatically this mesh data takes a few milliseconds, so about the 5 milliseconds. So you can really also on the other demo from Anders, you can see that you can do it dynamically. So wave interference article demonstrates that you can use these dynamic mesh generation techniques to have a really nice moving images in 3D. So I've been back something like 20 years ago. I was studying on the Warsaw University of Technology and specializing in computer graphics. At that time, I was using a PC with 1 megabyte of memory, and it was a 33 megahertz CPU and SVGA and the Borland graphics interface. So the second screenshot on this actually page shows my original demo written in Turbo Pascal 5.5 with SVGA graphics, demonstrating a bicubic surface, or also known as a Bezier surface. So basically what I did, I was trying to recreate some of the functionality that I already implemented. So for obvious reason, I couldn't really use this for this existing code for painting, and all the painting was done quite easily. Basically, in order to draw something, I was drawing white lines, and to hide it, I was drawing black lines in the same positions, and in this way I could actually have some kind of animation. But all the code for generating this Bezier surface, which is a matrix 11 by 11 of 3D points, I was able to reuse as is and plug into the Anders code, and so I was able to actually generate bicubic surfaces. And this is actually a very powerful way on its own for creating for modeling graphics. So it's really you have just the matrix of control points, and you can very effectively, based on those control points, generate underlying triangles and render it very fast. So I think that's a great showcase of backward compatibility of our source code, and really I don't think there is many other technologies on the market that can actually say, okay, I'm taking some of my work from something like 20 years ago and use it with no modifications in the products today. I think that's something that was really a great fun to do, and I hope that somebody will find it useful.
Yeah, thanks, Pavel. I think, and then also there's quite a few blogs around that help people get their head around how to integrate existing applications with FireMonkey as well. I know that Stephen Ball's done a bunch of work around using FireMonkey forms, wrapping them up in DLLs and calling them from C++, from C#, from VCL apps, and then taking, or of course from FireMonkey apps, or then taking that library and moving it over to Mac and using that FireMonkey form wrapped up and deploying it on the Mac. On the Mac as well, excuse me. So that's something that's lots of different articles coming out. I think one that I worked on recently, and I need to blog about it, and I think that we're going to have a webinar on it in the whole sort of Rad in Action series in a couple of weeks, is around Microsoft Visual C++ app, and taking the business rules and classes out of that, and then converting that over to then run as a native C++ application on on the Mac platform. So there's loads of different combinations of this, and I know that Pavel, you've also done a load of code that you made available for people on the cloud side. There was actually a message that came in separately earlier about the cloud stuff. Maybe Pavel, you could just mention this. Is the question was really is the cloud support, and we'll go to a separate topic on this in a couple of weeks. Is the cloud support really sort of supporting a specific API, or is it really just a matter of running your executable on a virtual machine on the cloud service, so to speak?
I think there are two dimensions to this. So first of all, there are different, for different vendors, cloud means different things. And from our perspective and from some statistics, Amazon Web Services is clearly a market leader on the cloud space, and they do offer a number of specific services. So on one hand, you have services like Elastic Cloud, EC2, which basically means they are running. You can run your own virtual machine on their on Amazon infrastructure, which is a great thing because basically you have full control and you can log in with your administrator password remotely, and you can basically install their whatever software you want, for example, a data snap services, and then so that's a one dimension to the web services, that you can actually put arbitrary applications on the virtual machines. Also, what is interesting about the cloud is that you have scalability and fault tolerance. So using things like load balancers, you can actually set up the cloud to actually, depending on the network traffic and the load on your system, you can get the infrastructure to automatically start new instances of your virtual machines and stop them depending on the traffic. So that's a very powerful thing, and you don't have to do it in your code. You can actually use the infrastructure for scalability. And then all those services, including also functionality to talk to EC2, all those services can be managed through the APIs. So Amazon Web Services provides a web interface, so you can go to the aws.amazon.com and log into your management console and have access to all the services. But basically, this is just a one way to talk to the APIs that Amazon provides. So they do have programmatic APIs to all the services, so including things like EC2, you can write programs, scripts, use existing SDKs to, for example, programmatically start and stop EC2 services. But what we do have in upgradeXE2, we do have specific APIs to talk to cloud services, specifically the storage services, so services for storing data, things like S3 services, tables, simple DB service, queue service. So we can actually now talk programmatically from Delphi application to the cloud, to the Amazon APIs. And that's actually, it's quite a lot of work that was done in putting this in place, because this cloud API basically, first of all, they provide a uniform interface to talking in the same way to different services. So if you write your code in a generic way, you can actually write your code once that will run against both Azure and Amazon. So that's and also quite a lot of is done around the security. So it's not that straightforward to write those classes yourself, because very much every interaction that you do programmatically with a web services can incur some costs. So there is a very strong security around it. And that's what our Cloud API provides. So you don't have to really go low level with details of security. All those things are done for you, so you can focus on your application logic. So it's really very, very interesting. But we are going to have a dedicated webinar in few months, in few weeks' time, just on Cloud API.
Yeah, I'm just going to paste out the developing cloud applications part of the doc wiki so that people can get to it directly. So that cloud development help. There you go. That'll be fine.
Yeah, the nice thing about the when I speak to people and meet customers and developers in conferences or the customer meetings, it's nice not to forget about all the enterprise technologies that we have in XE2. So many customers, many of our users are on professional edition. They don't have all these server-side capabilities that are introduced at the enterprise level. And so Delphi is, I think, most of the people, when we say Delphi, they will immediately think about the development of a client-side applications, and specifically now with a FireMonkey, you can create a cross-platform clients. But also Delphi is about the server side. So nowadays, especially with a mobile offerings, it's not so common to have really a standalone applications. Your applications on mobile or on desktop won't need to communicate with some backend services, and that's where we have the data snap technology, and also where we can use cloud to deploy to. So it's really, XE2 is more than FireMonkey. It's FireMonkey plus also all the server-side technologies, specifically data snap, that you can use to really create a scalable, performant enterprise systems.
Yeah, that's what I said earlier about really that separation, and the importance of that came through in XE, really ahead of XE2, didn't it? But obviously it's got refined quite significantly in XE2 in the last year or so. People have really been able to take the benefit of that. So a couple of things I wanted to draw people's attention towards, actually, and I think I've got. Is it this one here? That's the. Oh, I'll get to that one. Okay, here's David's e-learning series that you might want to sign up for. It's going on each Thursday, starting next Thursday with May. It's in the evening for a lot of EMEA European time zones, but obviously it's being recorded. And then the other thing that's worth it is just bearing in mind is a lot of guys actually when you update to XE2, you get a free shot at a certification test. So hundreds of Delphi developers have been getting certified, which is a good sort of mark of your capabilities and your level of showing your level of capabilities. And then also even through up to the Delphi Master certification. So the only piece with that really is getting. It's a moderated exam, so you need to have someone go to a moderation, a training center, or someone who can actually moderate your exam and make sure that it is you taking it, basically, through that. But the Delphi developer certification, as many hundreds of developers have been getting certified at that level over the last few months, and that's something that we should be aware of, I guess, with regards to online resources and moving things forward. Okay, we probably better look at move this forward a bit as well to keep us on track. We're just coming up to the hour shortly. A couple of comments. So actually, yeah, if you get onto the Twitter feed, then David's been posting some resources onto that. Thank you, that's great. As well as my Cloud Earl there, and a few other messages coming through, so that's pretty cool. People saying how long they've been developing for and the likes. So yeah, so it's EMBT. Let me just flip back to the PowerPoint if you missed it at the start. Here we go.
32 years since I wrote my first computer application.
Yeah. Come on back to PowerPoint. Sorry about this. That was my PA server running there. We'll talk all about those in a few weeks' time. Where is it? Next. Bear with me. Caller. I just wanted to say, well, I guess #EMBT DD is the conversation tag, and obviously it's EMBTD Direct on Twitter, and you can follow all of that stuff. So maybe if we move over to some of the demo type stuff, really, that we were going to show some of the products, some of the applications that we've taken on the road. We'll look at some of the comments that have come out in the broader. After this demo session, we'll look at some of the comments that have come out from maybe leading luminaries and developers around the world, and also some of the things, some of the fun things that developers have done with these that actually show some serious points, as well as some of the pieces that people have found they've been able to move their applications over mostly wholesale from Windows to Mac using these technologies. So, Pavel, do you want to take presenter rights? Are you ready for that at the moment?
Yeah, sure. Let me actually see. Okay, I now need to.
If there's any other questions in the meantime, I'll just check to see if there's any other presenters. You doing it? You taking it?
I'm not sure if I can actually show my screen. My screen is actually disabled for me.
Let me just flick you over to presenter.
Okay.
That's what I need to do to start with.
Show my screen. Okay, so now you should be seeing my screen. So I was thinking actually you should actually see my Delphi. I hope you see Delphi. Okay, so